From WREL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. I'm Cliff Baumgartner. Here's the latest from WREL.com. Today, Governor Roy Cooper said public schools will reopen next month with certain restrictions in place. Cooper closed schools 4 months ago to try to curb the spread of the coronavirus, forcing students, teachers, and families to switch to remote learning. On July 1st, Cooper said he and state officials needed more time to determine the best path forward. He instructed school districts to prepare 3 potential plans for the 2020 through 2021 school year with varying levels of social distancing and safety measures. Well, today, Cooper said the state is going with Plan B, which requires moderate social distancing and a mix of in-person and remote learning. However, the governor left Plan C, which calls for full-time virtual education, as an option for districts experiencing high numbers of coronavirus cases. The reopening plan requires daily temperature checks and health screenings and mandates face coverings to be worn by all school employees and students, including in elementary schools. Cooper's announcement comes as the state has seen a 17% week-over-week rise in newly confirmed cases and broken the record for the highest single-day increase since the pandemic began. Last week, applications opened for Wake County's online learning option called the Virtual Academy. The application process was created so district leaders can estimate how many families will want all online learning. In just 3 days, 11% of the district's 162,000 students applied for the academy. The application period ends on July 20th. You can find more information on individual districts and their reopening plans on our website. Yesterday, the World Health Organization's chief slammed some government leaders for eroding public trust by sending mixed messages on the coronavirus and warned that their failures to stop their country's spiraling outbreaks means there would be no return to normal for, quote, the foreseeable future. The WHO director did not call out specific politicians for criticism, but said, quote, too many countries are headed in the wrong direction with the pandemic, and some were not taking the proper steps to curb infections, calling the virus, quote, public enemy number 1. The Director General's remarks to reporters in Geneva came a day after WHO reported yet another worldwide record of more than 230,000 confirmed cases in just 24 hours. 10 countries accounted for 80% of the daily tally reported on Sunday, and more than half of the newly confirmed cases came from the United States and Brazil. Leaders in countries like the United States, Brazil, and India that are still facing large outbreaks have variously rejected or downplayed advice or recommendations from scientific experts. Amid a debate in places like the U.S. about whether schools can reopen, the WHO's emergencies chief said any such decisions require a broader outlook that takes into account how workplaces or long-term care facilities operate too. U.S. President Donald Trump has pressured school districts in America to reopen this fall, threatening to cut off funding for ones that don't comply. And lastly, Duke University has outlined the protocols it's putting in place to help keep students safe when they return to campus in a few weeks. According to the university, students can sign up for time slots during the move-in period, beginning on August 7th, with only a certain number allowed during each time period. As soon as students arrive on campus, they'll be greeted with a COVID-19 test and a self-monitoring app. They will receive masks and a thermometer, and they'll have to self-isolate in their rooms until test results are in. Students will receive test results within 48 hours. If a student does test positive upon their arrival, they will be relocated to a quarantine zone on East Campus. The university has also prohibited overnight visitors during move-in week and throughout the fall semester. Students are strongly encouraged to bring only necessary items needed for the fall term. More details about Duke's plan can be found online at returnto.duke.edu. This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. If you like the information and resources you get from this show, let us know. Leave a rating and review wherever it is you listen. Plus, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our new episodes. Thanks for listening.